Hey there, crafty friends. It's Tina here from the Scrappin Rabbit blog. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel today. I have a video featuring the box of the month from Not Too Shabby Shop. This is the October box of the month, and it is full of Christmas yummy goodness. Now, at the time of filming, this kit is already just about sold out, but I will have links in the description box below to some of the products that are available for purchase individually. There are 3 stamp sets, 2 ephemera packs, and 2 6x6 paper pads, and they're in different themes. So you have this color theme here, and then this is a completely different vibe. So cute. So I know that you guys have probably already seen some unboxing videos, so I'm just going to get right to it. I'm going to create a couple cards, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is organize and look at all the amazing ephemera that come in this Deck the Halls box of the month. I really love this color scheme, this little country Christmas type of a theme, and so I'm choosing the images that I want to use for my projects. Now, how adorable are those little gnomes? The paper pad is also really amazing. I love the patterns and prints for this Gnome Sweet Gnome paper pack. The links are below in the description box for this paper if you're interested in purchasing it separately outside of the kit. And hopefully my projects will give you inspiration if you've already purchased the kit. So these are the images that I decided to use for my cards today. I love the florals and the little gifts. Those also coordinate really well with the little gnomes. For the designer paper, I chose these 2 patterns. I love the stripes and the flannels. I just think that they are so warm and cozy and are going to really help to create really cute cards. So I'm designating which images are going to go with which paper, and then now I'm going to use a top folding A2 card base to design. So I went ahead and cut out a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 of that designer sheet, and I'm going to use these border dies from My Favorite Things. And it's going to be a simple design. I just cut out some white cardstock to center in the middle of that panel. I'm trying to find different ways to design my backgrounds. I'm adding a deep red cardstock trim there to give it a little bit of a border to help it stand out a little bit more. So these images really pop with that white panel. And I'm also going to use the stamp set, what is it called? It's Merry Mugs. The Merry Mugs stamp set for the sentiment. And I decided to go with the 'Tis the Season. So I think that that's going to look really cute in that upper right hand corner, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp and emboss the sentiment. I like to use the VersaFine black ink and clear embossing powder. I love the texture that you get with an embossed sentiment. It's also helpful to use that anti-static powder tool to help keep any extra embossing powder from sticking where you don't want it. And I'm just going to spoon a little bit on there, heat my heat tool up nice and hot, and then melt that pattern or powder, and look at how cool that looks. So I also want to give it more texture. So I know that embossing folders are all the craze right now, and I have quite a stash of them. I did not get rid of any of mine, and now that they're making their comeback, I'm making sure that I'm pulling them out more often, and I love the way that that snowflakes pattern looks. I'm just going to go ahead and use some liquid glue to adhere my panels down, and I always feel like that is way more secure than the double-sided adhesive tape that I used to always use. I like the way that this liquid glue works, and it doesn't cause my paper to warp, and it also doesn't dry too fast that you have hard lines forming underneath your layers. So now that I'm getting my basic layout down, I really like the way that this turned out. It's something a little bit different, and I think pulling out your dies and the things that you have in your stash is always a great way to craft. So I wanted to use this silver thread, and I'm just going to use some double-sided sticky tape and roll that around to give it that little pattern behind. I wasn't sure how much thread that I needed, but I decided to just use up the full amount that I had there, and just wrapping it around and around and around until I have all of the thread secured on that double-sided tape. Now I'm going to go over with the images some double-sided adhesive foam and put that over the top, and that's also going to help secure the thread down. I like to give good coverage with the foam so that when I'm mailing any of my cards, they don't get bent or damaged in the mail. For a finishing touch, I'm going to pull out this green Nouveau, and they're little pine leaves or pine branches on the gifts, and I'm just going over those to give it a little extra sparkle. And that completes my first card. So quick and easy, and I just love how it turned out. For my second card, I'm also going to use a top folding A2 card base, and I did cut that panel out as well at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I used another die from that MFT set to create a little scalloped edge. I chose those two images, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment in the upper left-hand corner on this panel. So I'm prepping my paper, and I'm going to do the same exact thing that I did with the first card. Once I get that stamped down, I can add the powder, heat my heat tool, and get that nice and melted. I'm going to go ahead and emboss that white layer just like I did with the first card as well, and glue it down as well with the liquid glue. These cards came together so fast. I'm really trying to get better with using the pattern paper, and the pattern papers in the boxes that we've been using have been inspiring me to create more. It's not something that I used to use a lot. In fact, I'm a big hoarder of all kinds of pattern paper. My stash is pretty ridiculous. So I'm really excited to be using these kits because it's really getting me outside of my comfort zone to try and experiment more card layouts using more and more pattern papers. So just like before, I'm going to add some dimension with the double-sided foam tape and add that over the top of my card and arrange these little images. And it's just amazing how quick these cards come together with these kits. And you get so much. I can't even imagine all the cards that I could create if I was just to spend the day just creating. So far, I've just had enough time to pick out my most favorites and create with those, but now I'm developing such a stash that I should be able to make Christmas cards for years to come. For a finishing touch, I'm going to use this Nouveau glitter marker in red and go over this flower and add a little bit of extra sparkle. And that completes my second card. So these two cards came together so quick, and I think that they turned out so adorable. Using products from your stash, incorporating the old with the new, I think is a fantastic way to go. So again, these Box of the Month kits are just amazing, and if you were able to pick this up before it sold out, I'm so excited for you, and I really hope that my video inspires you to get busy creating. I can't wait to create more projects. I think I'm gonna absolutely have to break into that Gingerbread Kisses paper pad and those gingerbread stamps and get creating with that ephemera. I just love the way that these turned out. Again, the links to the shop are in the description box below. The links to any products that are available are also going to be in the description box below. Thanks again so much for stopping by. I really hope you like my cards, and I hope that you guys all have a fantastic day. Until next time, everyone, happy crafting. Bye for now.